Regarding framework, you have to remember to always address the framework and weighing. So what this means is you can provide alternative warrants. For example, if the opposing side says that money is the most important impact of the round, you can contradict that, saying lives outweigh money. Or if you want to flip that, you can say money can be used to save lives. So you can always prioritize your impacts differently, but you have to remember to always address the framework. But then remember that you can also link into their framework. You don't necessarily need to contradict it. So for example, if they say that the quality of life is more important than money, you don't have to say that money is more important than the quality of life. You can just say how your side links into an increased benefit and quality of life. Go.
When evaluating framework, you might want to think about a couple of moral theories. One is utilitarianism, which essentially entails judging the consequence of an action by the end result. Or another about deontology, which is viewing the value of an action instead of the result. A couple of examples in which these two moral theories clash is about war. Going to war might mean that you can save more lives at the end. That's the utilitarianist approach. But under deontology, you could say that going to war is bad because that means you inherently have to kill more people, and that's bad.
Go.
Another moral theory is contractualism, essentially where a body or like a government is bounded by a contract to its people. So the most common example of this is the social contract theory, in which a government first duty is to its people.
Ground skew occurs in a debate round when teams try to limit the types of arguments that they can argue within the round. One way this can occur is when teams try to rephrase a topic or stray away from the framer's intent of the resolution. For example, when we're talking about the refugee crisis, it's most probable that the framer's intent of the resolution is to talk about the refugee crisis that's occurring right now with the most magnitude, which is in Syria and other areas in the Middle East. But teams might try to pull an example out of left field, citing an obscure specific refugee crisis that might not necessarily be as pertinent to current events. At that point, this is when they're trying to skew the grounds of the debate because you're most likely not prepared for this one specific example. They can also try to skew the grounds of the debate by providing alternative definitions. For example, if the resolution contains the word prioritize, you might interpret this as prioritizing it in terms of time frame, meaning addressing the issue first. Whereas your other team might try to define prioritize by the amount of importance we give to that in terms of money or resource allocation. So when we're looking towards ground skew, it's important that you as a team don't skew the grounds of the debate trying to limit it to one specific area, because that actually devalues the educational impacts that the debate round can have to you as well as the audience.
Burdens typically operate at the top of the debate flow or at the top of the debate. These are conditions that the other team needs to satisfy. An example of a specific type of burden structure is a necessary but insufficient burden, hence the name. You can use it because even if the other team does not respond to the burden, that means that they do not win. They automatically lose the round. But even if they respond to it, it's insufficient to win the round. Thus the name, necessary but insufficient. It's a good type of burden structure because the other team has to respond to it, and if they don't, they lose the round, and it can't be turned or used as offense against you. Ways that you can approach responding to a necessary but insufficient burden include first responding to the links, second, simply meeting or satisfying the conditions, or third, if it's abusive or the other team is being unfair by using the necessary but insufficient burden without enough time for you to respond, you can respond by using theory, which is essentially debate about the educational value of that type of argument. Thus, it can lead you to either kick the argument or drop the debater. A type of a necessary but insufficient burden is that you have to prove that states are moral actors before you can begin to prove that policies or a specific type of policy implementation is good.
Take that money, watch it burn. Sink in the river, the lessons I learned. Take that money, watch it burn.